So joining us now is State Senator Liz Krueger. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to start out first with, you've also endorsed Mamdani. Explain why.
So I was not a supporter pre the primary. I actually was a supporter of Brad Lander. And we all know that that storyline did not go that way. But after the primary, I think the next day, Zohran Mamdani reached out to me to start to talk about issues that we had differences of opinion on and issues we could agree on. And I continued the conversation and the dialogue, and I did not rush to endorse. But frankly, it was very obvious that this man was going to win this election, and rightly so, out of hard work and gaining the support of the majority of people voting. And so I decided that since I'm pretty sure he is going to be the mayor, I want to be the best mayor possible for our city. And that means wanting to help him learn the job and be involved as much as I can be in making recommendations to him on how we get the important things done.
Yeah, Albany is so complicated. He could definitely, if he's elected, use your help in navigating the budget process, although he is a state assemblyman right now. Now, as a Senate Finance Chair yourself, you know the budget in and out. What do you think about, Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, Senate Majority Leader Andre Stewart-Cousins? They potentially are going to be backing, if Mamdani is elected, universal child care, free buses. What is your sense from the Democratic conference right now? Do you feel like they would be maybe on board for some of these proposals?
Well, I think, speaking for the Senate, Andre is an amazing leader who believes in developing consensus of our membership. So I don't think we've discussed this as a group yet. I think some of the issues you just named are goals and aspirations and hopes of many progressive electeds. And the question will come down onto, can we afford any of this? And that's where I'm like the bad news carrier, because with the proposals that the federal government has already put into place through that one big awful bill they passed in July, we know as the state of New York that we're expecting to lose billions of dollars come the next fiscal year and the years after that. So we know that New York State's projected to lose about $13 billion annually for health care, hundreds of millions of dollars a year in SNAP benefits for low-income New Yorkers, huge cuts in housing and homeless services. We've already seen a major reduction in anti-terrorism funding. We've already seen changes that will harm our school systems, harm our transportation systems. So now you come in with a mayor who has hopes and dreams for free transportation and free childcare. I'd say we will have to look at that in the context of all the losses in federal money we and the other 49 states are facing.
Well, exactly. It's not even clear if the state will be able to really come up with the money for existing programs, much less new programs, with these potential federal funding cuts that New York is facing next year. Now, one option to fund these programs, I know that's been tossed around, is raising taxes for millionaires or on millionaires and corporations. Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie this week said he was in support of it. What's your take? Do you feel like that's something that could be done in the state legislature? I know it's been tossed around for years now.
I think we are probably getting to the point in history where the state is going to need to increase taxes on both corporations and the wealthiest New Yorkers. Now, will that money then be available for the city of New York for new programs? I think they will have to get in line behind all the other programs that are facing cuts from the federal government. And I will remind everyone that the Washington agenda moving forward doesn't just cut huge amounts of the programs coming to the states, they also cut federal taxes for these populations, for corporations, and for the wealthiest Americans. So even if the state of New York, frankly, needs to increase taxes to make sure we come close to being whole. I would suspect that for the vast majority of Americans who would be impacted, or New Yorkers who would be impacted, they'll still be ahead of the game with their federal tax cuts.
Wow. So you feel like the state will have to raise taxes on millionaires and corporations just to fill the budget gap, not even for just new programs?
I'm saying that I think that will be a heavy part of the discussion.
Wow.
And we can't escape that reality right now based on what Washington has already done and continues to say they're going to go farther with. I mean, Washington is not our friend at this point, and it's not left or right or party politics. When you look at it from the perspective of what states have become built in, dependent on for 60, 70 years of federal policy, they're leaving our states high and dry. And we need to be innovative and look at the really tough questions and try the best we can to go it alone.
Governor Kathy Hochul has been insistent that she's not going to be raising taxes. She's facing re-election next year. Doesn't really seem like she is probably going to want at least to budge on this issue. Do you think this is going to set up a potential fight up in Albany? What do you kind of think?
Well, the definition of a government structure, right, divided between the governor, the assembly, and the Senate, is that we do have fights. It's not fights on a personal level. It's institutional debates about what is in the best interests of the people of New York State. And yes, the governor is running for re-election, as is all of the Assembly and Senate, as is all of the Congress next year. So I have no illusions that politics don't play some role in this. But I will say, if you ask the people of New York State, what are the things that they really care about? And you say, oh, you're losing health care, you're losing food nutrition programs, you're losing educational funding, you're losing funding for housing. I think most New Yorkers are actually going to say, could we do something about that as a priority versus anyone's individual elections?
Before I let you go, I did want to get your take as well on news that dropped this week. The state Democratic Party chairman, Jay Jacobs, he says he's not going to be endorsing Mamdani. And in fact, he said that democratic socialism doesn't have a place in the Democratic Party and they have insurmountable differences. What is your take on the Democratic Party chairman not endorsing the Democratic nominee, especially after Governor Hochul has? Do you feel like he has a reason here?
Oh, I don't know whether his reasoning is justifiable on his own level, but I think the chair of the Democratic Party for New York State should be endorsing Democratic candidates. This isn't the first time he's gone this route, personally, but I think not only is he wrong, it's bad for the Democratic Party. Let's be honest. The Democratic Party's reputation with too many voters is not a very good one. And I think it's not a very good one because we're not showing our strength, our unity, and focusing on what the people care about. And I think if you look at Mr. Mamdani's primary election and hearing people on the street talking to me about this, they see him as understanding what matters to them and committed to doing what matters to him or to them. And that is far more relevant than any individual chair of a party thinking that he doesn't like the Democratic Socialists. To be honest, people have to remember the vast majority of the U.S. government's foreign allies who have been the strongest allies with us since World War II have had democratic socialist governments. It's not terrifying. And if I hear one more person tell me it's communism, go read a book. Communism and democratic socialism are not the same thing. Democratic socialism has been a majority party role in the parliaments of Europe for over 50 years. We have other elected officials around the country who are democratic socialists, and it's not a conflict with being a Democrat.
Do you think Governor Hochul should replace him as chairman?
I think that is her job as the governor. I don't think I get a vote in that.
Well, thank you so much, Senator. I cannot thank you enough for being on. It's great seeing you, and I will be having you back on, and I'll probably see you up in Albany in a short bit here. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Morgan. Take care.